Like many Australians, I was delighted to hear the news today that the great tennis player Margaret Court will be promoted to a companion in the General Division of the Order of Australia, the highest of the Australia Day honours, for her services to sport. Delighted because it makes a nice change from the handing out of all those awards willy-nilly to woke warriors of the sort who want to ban the word guys because it's sexist. As Wally Mason writes in The Australian today, the truth of the matter is that purely as a tennis player, Court is among the most deserving recipients ever of Australia's highest honour. He goes on, when Serena Williams finally begins her Australian Open campaign next month, she will have one aim in mind, equalling the record set by Court that has hung over her, over Serena, throughout her entire career. Court won 24 Grand Slams, Williams is stalled on 23. Mason adds that Margaret Court was the first Australian woman to win Wimbledon in 1963. She won 24 singles Grand Slam titles, 19 women's doubles titles and 21 mixed doubles titles, which is why he claims that she is undeniably Australia's greatest female player and one of our greatest athletes of all time. But Margaret Court is also, as we all know, an absolute demon figure, a hate figure to the left, because of her divisive and disrespectful views on homosexuality, conversion therapy, same-sex marriage, and the transgender issue. Let's not forget, Margaret Court is a Christian pastor and a Bible literalist who believes homosexuality is a sin and believes that our children are being corrupted, particularly with the current fad for gender reassignment therapy amongst young children. Well, you don't have to be a religious fundamentalist to believe that there are serious moral questions at play in that particular arena. Plenty of medical professionals equally find current practices and the way some adults are encouraging young children to go down the transgender path abhorrent. Divisive is the accusation levelled by the left at anyone whose views differ from their own stifling woke neo-Marxist beliefs. Of course, when the left try and impose their fundamentalist beliefs on the rest of us, oh no, there's nothing divisive or disrespectful about that. No, that's just, doing the right thing.
I can stand and should be able to stand on my beliefs and say what I do in the nation, to the younger generation, to the nation. And I don't think any of that should be brought into what I'm being honoured for. I stand and say, and I'd say again what I've said from the Bible. It's been around for 2,000 years, and I think I need to stand for freedom of speech. We should be able to say what God says.
Well, the only thing Margaret Court said wrong there was that the Bible's only 2,000 years old. Of course, the Jewish Bible goes back, the Old Testament goes back a lot longer than that. Anyway, I digress. The announcement itself won't actually be made official until Australia Day, or, as the craven cultural cowards at Cricket Australia call it, January 26th. But that didn't stop our politicians either running for cover or going for the jugular. Scott Morrison brushed off the question like he brushes off those pesky Queensland flies.
Well, I can't comment on an award that is done through an independent process that hasn't been announced, or I have no official knowledge of those things. This is a completely independent, separate process, and those announcements will be made on the appropriate day.
Which means, presumably, that he has plenty of unofficial knowledge of it. Meanwhile, Anthony Albanese fumbled the serve in his usual inept style by pandering to the inner-city lefties at the same time as alienating most older working-class Aussies, particularly Christians, by petulantly and pointlessly tweeting. Margaret Court has already been honoured for her tennis prowess. I think it's clear for everyone to see that this has nothing to do with tennis. OK, Alba, yes. What, any more? No, that's it. OK, boom, missed the ball there. But in the petty, petulant stakes, nothing, of course, could match the spoilt, mean-spirited, arrogant, virtue-signalling narcissism of the Premier of Victoria, parading in front of his sycophantic press groupies, Daniel Andrews.
I'm quite sick of talking about that person every summer. We finish up having this discussion in one form or another every single summer. I would prefer not to be giving oxygen to some of these views, but you've asked me a question and I've answered it honestly. I do not support that, but I don't give out those gongs. That's not a matter for me. that's for others. You might want to speak to them about why they think those views, which are disgraceful, hurtful and cost lives, should be on it.
Oh, really? Well, I'm pretty sick of talking about one particular person too, Dan. You. Yes, I'm sick of talking about how, thanks to your government's inexcusable bungling of hotel quarantine, over 800 Australians died. I'm sick of talking about your goon squads invading people's homes, dragging them out of cars, smashing down their front doors and arresting a pregnant mum in her pyjamas, handcuffing her in front of her children simply because she was doing what every Australian is entitled to do, including Margaret Court, which is expressing her right to freedom of political expression and freedom of religious beliefs, as anyone in a well-functioning democracy is entitled to do. And also, I'm pretty sick of talking about your joke of a phony inquiry that claims some weird form of collective amnesia for your entire government, and your refusal to play by the Westminster rules of democratic accountability and take the blame for your government's disastrous bungles. Oh, and what was that bit at the end about Margaret Court's views that they are, let me remember. Oh, yes, disgraceful, hurtful and cost lives. Well, Dan, my guess, it's a wild guess, but anyway, my guess is that the depression and the suicides that may well have been triggered or exacerbated by your punitive and often illogical lockdowns, your insane geographical restrictions, and your crippling enforced business closures, and your bungling at the hotel quarantine, all that probably fits that description a little too well.